Over the years, I've been caught out purchasing kitchenware that I never really needed, that ended up living rent-free in our home. And because rent in Vancouver is expensive, I want to find out just how small you can make a kitchen without compromises.
So I'm going to see if I can condense an entire kitchen's worth of the most cost-effective, durable, and high-performing kitchenware inside a single kitchen cabinet, all coming to a total cost of no more than $500.
So the rules for this challenge are simple. 1. Everything must fit inside the width of a single standard 600mm kitchen unit, except for the oven and sink area items. 2. The included kitchenware must cover all basic kitchen necessities, including prep work, cooking and cleaning for the average 2 to 4 person household. 3. Everything must remain easily accessible. And 4. Everything must total under $500. I figured a good place to start would be to pull everything out of our cupboards to see exactly what we've accumulated, where, despite being a self-proclaimed minimalist for the past several years, marriage and parenthood has definitely caused things to add up. I think I may have been low-key indoctrinated with this whole idea of minimalism during my time at architecture school, ever since watching my tutors gush over the serene spaces of architects like Peter Zumthor and David Chipperfield, which has kind of led me to crave this sense of tranquility in my own home, which in my experience provides me with the clarity to think, reflect and create easily, and inhabit a space that I'm proud to share with family and friends. But it's not surprising that when left unchecked, the contents of a typical kitchen can get out of hand, where the necessity of owning every single kitchen gadget under the sun can fool you into the desire to upsize, only to the detriment of your wallet and your time that ends up being left to pay off or rent a home that you barely have the time to spend in.
So it's time to figure out what from all of this mess is actually necessary, and if I can fit all of it inside of a single cabinet. Kicking things off with the big boys, when it comes to pots and pans, I've realized for some time now that you really only need a very special and intentional set of 3.
1 large frying pan for anything from searing steaks to simmering curry, 1 larger looped-handled pot for boiling soups and pasta, and 1 small-handled one for smaller quantities. But there are a few main things to consider here.
Firstly, these are stainless steel, simply because stainless steel doesn't scratch easily like non-stick does, so you don't have to worry about stacking them or throwing them out before toxic coatings start flaking off inside of your food. And because of this, they all can nest without needing any unnecessary or annoying layer of protection between each one of them. And because they don't require the frequent seasoning that carbon steel and cast iron does, they save time too, as they can simply be thrown inside of the dishwasher for easy and efficient cleaning, and if you don't really care about the finish, they're also a lot more accepting of the occasional abuse from a scouring pad too. And what many people don't realize is that stainless steel can actually become non-stick, thanks to something called the Leidenfrost effect, where at temperatures above 193 degrees Celsius, an insulating vapor layer actually separates your food from the pan itself when cooking things that tend to stick to your pans like eggs. And because unlike non-stick pans, you can heat these really hot before destroying them, they're great for searing things like steaks too.
Total cost, $93.
But before we go any further, I can already hear the screams of the comments section saying things like,
"Oh, I couldn't possibly fathom living inside of a kitchen without my Dutch oven, wok, and egg pan."
Or,
"I've been doing minimalism for over a year now, and a true minimalist only needs 1 pan."
so it's fair to say that on one extreme, you have your hobbyist chefs and bakers who have ample time to make themselves their own pasta and fold croissants each week, and on the other hand, you have your extreme minimalists who are eating 1-pan meals out of their 1 pan. But in this video, my goal is to cover as much ground as possible right down the middle, with items that excel at the widest possible range of tasks while being durable and easy to use to squeeze the most performance per dollar possible out of this incredibly tiny one cabinet kitchen that I'm trying to hopefully accomplish. Next up, cutting is where almost all cooking begins, where you can simply eradicate almost all kitchen cutting gadgets with a good set of knives, where you can cover pretty much everything using just 3. A chef's knife, which is the most important as it can be used for pretty much everything. A serrated knife for food that gets squished when using a chef's knife for things like bread. And a paring knife for when you need a little bit more dexterity from a smaller one, where with good technique you'll be able to chop, slice and dice with ease, where you could develop a skill that stays with you for life rather than depending on cheap, short-lived kitchen accessories that only clutter your cabinets.
And to keep them sharp, for speed, space and convenience, a simple 2-step sharpening tool gets the job done quickly without pretending that I need a knife as sharp as a sushi master's by using a honing steel and a whetstone. On top of this, a pair of dishwasher-safe come-apart kitchen shears are incredibly handy to have and also very easy to clean. And I tend to find graters with integrated containers to be the best for easy storage and less mess.
And then for your chopping surface, for the sweet spot, I found that you only really need 3 kinds of chopping board too. Firstly, a large wooden board for preparing fresh produce and bread, a smaller, lightweight one for speed and convenience, and then finally a plastic dishwasher safe one for preparing both cooked and raw meat. And this is because when it comes to wooden boards, there's the risk that bacteria and grease from meat isn't actually removed during the hand washing process. And unlike wood, this one can simply be thrown inside the dishwasher. But in every other area, wood and bamboo excels, as unlike plastic, which can't be refinished or recycled, these can last almost infinitely through regular maintenance using a food-grade mineral oil and sandpaper.
Total cost for all of this, $111.
Now, after preparing food, there is nothing worse than being faced with a bunch of mismatched second-hand containers, wasting your time and the space inside of your cupboards, while also never seeming to properly dry off without having to use a dish towel after you wash them.
So I've come to the realization that glass containers with airtight plastic lids are elite items for small kitchens, as they're oven and microwave safe and incredibly versatile as they can also double as serving dishes or bowls too. So we use 2 types of rectangular glass containers, one shallow and one deep, that both use the same size lid, small square ones for scraps, snacks or sauces, and round ones which also double as deep bowls for things like soup or gorging on large amounts of crunchy nut cornflakes and ramen.
And we also keep a few plastic variants on hand too, for when taking food outside of the house, as glass is heavy and breakable. But these all share the same lid and they perfectly stack on top of each other.
Total cost $43. So of course in this cabinet we have some utensil drawers. So seeing as we picked stainless steel pans, stainless steel utensils work just fine on these, and they allow us to throw everything in the dishwasher, unlike with wood which you tend to have to wash by hand. But with utensils, it seems that a comprehensive set includes a spoon, ladle, turner, spaghetti server, tongs, whisk, spatula, vegetable peeler, and can opener. Then, as these all go in a drawer, they need organising, where I've found that spring mechanism drawer organisers tends to make the very most out of the space available, paired with a rack for your knives, which allows you to customise the sections exactly as you need without leaving any space wasted.
But on top of this, another essential item that many people forget is a digital probe thermometer, as when it comes to choosing to have a rather unpleasant toilet experience, or choosing to eat overcooked meat, we tend to choose the latter. But the thing is, there is no reason that you have to experience either, as this little device ensures that you have peace of mind and it liberates you from guessing temperatures, which means that you no longer have to endure overly dry chicken.
Total cost $106.
Now, as a bit of a break, thankfully nothing in the kitchen sink has to squeeze inside of this tiny cabinet, which is starting to get very full. However, the sink is somewhere that can get cluttered incredibly quickly, with different soap bottles, cloths, sponges and brushes taking up the space.
So despite not being completely essential, to remedy this, we decant our hand and dish soap into 2 amber glass soap dispensers, as well as a sink caddy to hide a wire scrubber and a scrub daddy. And because paper towels are a massive waste of both paper and money, and microfiber towels tend to start stinking pretty quickly, we recently discovered just how absorbent and quick drying Swedish dishcloths are. And because of this, they never seem to smell, and you can simply throw them in the dishwasher when they need a clean too.
And although I personally feel that the best place for drying items in a small space is in a cabinet with a wire rack bottom placed above the sink, our rental unit doesn't have this, so we use a lightweight IKEA tray that drains into our sink and also fits inside of our dishwasher too.
Total cost, $41.
Then when it comes to large bowls, this really follows the same idea as with pans, where we use this stacking set equipped with a colander, sieve and measuring cups, as well as a stainless steel bowl for things like salads too. But when it comes to measuring, in reality, I far prefer the accuracy of using a digital scale when compared to using volumetrics. And a digital scale is something that you'll definitely own if you're into brewing coffee, as well as a handy measuring jug that can also be used for larger brews.
Total cost, $56. So I'm kind of struggling to fit all of this in here, where realistically, unless whoever designed your kitchen is smart and went for deep drawers, nothing at the back of this cabinet is going to be accessible, which is a clear violation of Rule 3. At this point, I kind of felt like giving up on this altogether, but then I remembered a grey area in my rules. Oven items. Where, because my pans are stainless steel, they're oven safe, and because they have short handles, they don't awkwardly take up any unnecessary space. So seeing as most kitchens do come pre-equipped with an oven, this is completely free storage space that usually sits mostly empty, where there's now hope that I might actually be able to fit everything I need inside this awfully designed cabinet. But with all this talk about ovens, it's got me thinking about a recent experience with the sponsors of today's video, Skillshare.
Where I know for certain that there is no better way for a designer to understand a space than by using it, where I've been putting countless hours into my cooking skills over the past few years. But now, with classes on Skillshare, developing skills like these has never been easier, as it has the largest online learning community for creatives like me, with thousands of classes led by industry experts across multiple areas, like not only cooking, but design, productivity, freelancing, film, and more, where the classes on Skillshare can help you take hobbies, passions, side hustles, and careers up a level, where I've most recently enjoyed expanding my knowledge around doughs specifically from a class by Umber Ahmad, who is the founder of New York's renowned and well-established Mazadar bakeries. So with summer being the prime time to develop a new skill, the first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so you can get started developing new skills today. Now for cups and tableware, I honestly have no idea how I'm going to fit all of this in there. But we personally like using glass mugs, as it's nice to be able to clearly see whatever it is that you're drinking and how much you've got left of it.
And as mugs tend to break, I can know for 100% certain that I'll be able to find a reasonably priced equivalent one should my current ones be discontinued, which keeps all of our mugs looking cohesive. And then really, drinking glasses are just drinking glasses, so there's not much to see here. And for plates and bowls, glass ones are definitely the most economical, lightweight and compact solution.
However, I've come to prefer using IKEA's reactive glaze ones, as these have an aesthetic irregularity that's a little bit synonymous with a handmade look, which makes them feel a little bit less sterile and of a bit more of a higher quality.
And because you also eat with your eyes, not literally, but you get what I'm saying, they tend to elevate whatever food you're eating off them. Total cost $86. I have to say, it is incredibly satisfying to fit almost everything you need for a functional kitchen inside of a single kitchen cabinet, even if this was a bit of an arbitrary exercise with a few of my own rules being broken along the way. So despite it being likely that we'll still spread most of these items out across the remaining cabinets in our kitchen, the real question is,
did we make it under the budget of $500 US? Despite this being what I think is the best possible setup for durability, usability, and aesthetics, unfortunately, this has come at the cost of a few things that I somewhat love that didn't quite make the cut. Realistically, am I going to be getting rid of all of these things? No. But I have come away with the feeling that our humble 2.5 bedroom apartment's kitchen is now massive, which has made me feel incredibly grateful for this space, where I'm excited to see what I can now do with all of this extra storage.